where I was headed. And when 50% of our community attempt suicide and 30% succeed, I imagine college kids who are trying to figure out themselves confiding in a school therapist that they have suicidal thoughts and being kicked out of school for it.
Right. We're just training students not to seek help.
Yeah, that's kind of strange.
Exquisitely asinine.
Yeah. That is. How are the policies at Mitchell?
I don't know the policies.
I'm sorry.
But
You had to know that was coming.
Yeah, I know. I can't imagine that it adheres to a policy like that. I don't.
They do
that
talk
doesn't seem
to in their defense. They did talk to some of the Director of Counseling and Psychological Services for Cornell University, says, because it's really about protecting and balancing the rights of the community as well. Sometimes students can disrupt other students' educational experiences and educational environment, and it is the school's responsibility to look out for all their students. But I know my own therapist, and I've been in group therapy for a number of years now, psychotherapy, and whenever somebody has talked about suicide or hurting themselves or just doing self-harm in any way, she always then starts to follow up with, okay, do you think between now and our next meeting you'll follow through on that? There's sort of an obligation to determine whether there's an imminent threat or whether someone's just confiding these feelings of hopelessness and desperation. And it seems in much the way that, it just seems like some of these schools, and it's probably, I'm sure it's not all of them, but some of the schools are in some significant way letting down their student body.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was, what's this guy? Karen Bauer is a staff attorney at the Basel Center for Mental Health and Law, who basically said the same thing. Before placing a student on involuntary leave of absence, they have to determine whether or not the student actually is a direct threat, assuming that there's no mitigating measures that would reduce the risk to a reasonable level.
Yeah. That's an interesting
parents,
thing.
be careful.
Yeah, exactly. And certainly college-age students, we have certainly, a high rate of suicide, but I'm sure college students in general probably are among that group that
and if you want to spike it, it seems like the best way to go about it would be to train them not to seek help, isolate them. That's just
threaten them to be kicked out.
Right. Well, and the idea that the school's infirmary, the school's psychological services, which I'm pretty sure all schools have these days, is a dangerous place to go if you have a problem.
Yeah,
right? That's not a good thing. Somebody had pointed out that it seemed like if somebody went to the infirmary because they had a broken leg or they came down with a debilitating disease, whooping cough or something, that they'd be treated differently, and that this is maybe a reflection of the disparity between physical and mental health treatment in our country.
Wow. Yeah, that's certainly very interesting. Yeah. Anyway, we're just about out of time, and I want to thank Dr. Broccoli so much for coming.
Thank you for having
her on the show, and we're going to do this again. We're going to drag you on here again.
I'll come back.
And I'd like to thank your students for calling in.
Yes,
you wonderful students, and we are going to come see you at the college again.
That would be great.
We had a great time. We're definitely
fun.
going to do that again, and thank you so much for coming on the show, and thank you for inviting us to the college.
Thank you. I was thrilled to be here and happy to have you back whenever.
Just let us know. We'll be there. We're easy.
We're down this way frequently.
Yeah, I know we're
Very
local, so it's very good. And be sure to tune in to Father Russ's show. He's coming up next. And thank you so much. And we will see you all next week.
Next week. Have a good night.
Night.
It's not a risk to be high. 'cause I found my wishing well.